God. Look at this shit weather. We've legit moved the focus here to try and block out some of the crap coming in. But God, what shit weather. Welcome to today's video where we're going to start to try and do some transmission lines for clickbait. But this is not ideal. Oh God, I've literally been sitting inside trying to get the courage to come out here for what feels like hours now. And it is shocking. It is good to see in the last video from the good old little injector hat covers that I was making. It's good to see that there was a lot of interest in those. We have to get some stencils for a bunch of different types of injector hats, so that is definitely on the list. But yeah, we've got our shipment from Rocket with all of our line, our cutters, all of our fittings. So pretty much just got to jack the car up. We're only making 2 lines, so it's not rocket science and it's not the hardest thing in the world, but this weather sucks. And it is just not, it is not fun to be doing car stuff in this kind of weather because it sucks and it is cold. But it needs to be done and we can't really do anything with the car at all while it's like this, so may as well jack it up and just freaking get it over and done with. Okay, we have 3 points holding the car up. 1 down there, 2 here. Should be all safe, good to go. Let's get under the car and give her a rip. Just under the car right now because I was looking at the fittings at the top of the box. God, it's way too tight under here. I need a lift. I don't know what angle you're looking at. Fittings just here. No idea which angle the freaking camera's on right now, but the fittings are just there that we'll be putting on. So the old one's still sitting in there. But one thing that I've just noticed, the starter is sticking on. It's not going back into its shell after the solenoid shuts off. So you can see that it's like obviously been staying on there. So I wonder if that was an issue that while driving around, like to the pits, or through the pits, this was sticking on. Oh, you can see almost from that angle that it's kind of misaligned. That's interesting. But yeah, you can see like maybe from the pits, because we were winding this over, maybe it was getting something real hot up here, which causing those lines to fail. I don't know, but another thing found that another thing needs to be fixed. So yeah, you can just see that angle's off a tiny bit, so need to shim it or undo it and just kind of like rotate it a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely not lining up properly. Alrighty, so it is the next day. It's much better outside, and I've already done the first line. The first line's under there, it's all done up, it's all tight. So we're gonna make the second one. We're gonna have the help of Indy. So I'm actually gonna get her to make this one, or at least put the ends on. So we'll start with this end. So this is the cut end. So you can see what it kind of does to the end of it. So I'll give you a disc, hair out and kind of clean it. So just like kind of lightly kind of just push it in the end there, because we're not using that fitting you've got, but we're using at this end, we're using the end of it to reshape this the way that we need it. So just kind of like force it in there. Okay, just for the sake of this video, we're going to use this end instead, because as you can see, this one's perfectly round already. And the actual cut line across here, because this is the cut line from Rocket, it's just a lot smoother, so it's going to seat a lot better in the olive. So we'll start with this end. You're going to try and like get rid of this. It's a bit annoying. You can't kink it, so yeah, you can't like fold it too much, even though it's pretty flexible. Alrighty, so we're starting with a 90, because the 90 is going to go on the box. Yep. So now this first, I made this mistake because both times I made on that other hose, I didn't do this first. So I had to pull the olive out. Oh, you can do it. So that goes, you get it slide it on there. Now, if it's not wanting to kind of just slide straight on, just rotate as you're doing it so it can get past the steel weave. So now peel that tape off. Yeah, because you got this tape, which is a sticky tape. And you got this tape, which isn't sticky, but it's a cling. So is that all? Yeah, watch the ends of that. So now you take your olive to the silver. Sorry. Now this goes on the end here, and it has to go around the Teflon, like the rubber tube, the Teflon tube, but under the steel braid. Oh, that looks... Yeah, so it's already pretty much done. And then if you look on the inside, see how there's a lip at the very bottom? It has to seat all the way to the end of that. Okay. That looks like it's pretty much there. Can I look? Yep, I'd say that's there. Now you get this bit, and you push it in there. So just hold that end of the nut, and then just like while pushing this in, it will be tight. Like it's hard to push it in. Alrighty, so now this is where we come to our little friend just here. I'll just get a little clean spot. Literally only like a drop on the threads. God, that's very messy to use. Now we can wipe it off afterwards. So now it's really hard to start the threads, so it's a little bit, like you've got to be careful because they're only aluminium threads, so it's easy to damage them if they're not on straight. But yeah, you just got to push these together as hard as you can. It is going to be somewhat difficult, and then start turning the bottom onto these threads.
But push them together first.
Yeah.
So just like that?
Yeah. Now, yeah, it should be relatively easy to spin, and it's going to get harder. So just keep an eye on the threads so you can actually see if it's going on. Getting real tough.
It gets really hard really quickly.
So that's what keeps the fitting on there. So now you need these spanners. So you use, is that the bigger one? Yeah, so this one, your aim of the game for the back of the nut is to hold it still. Okay. This one, which is, yeah, this size, the aim of the game is to wind this down. But just to make it comfortable, it doesn't have to be flat. Just wherever's most comfortable for you.
So it doesn't move.
Yeah. So even if you like put it down in front of you so that it just naturally wants to sit there. All right, so you guys get the gist of it. I'll cut back in once it's on there. And then once it's done, you can allow for like a 1 to 2 mil gap in between just here so that you can align the flats. But that is on there super tight now. Like that is not coming off, I can guarantee you. Alrighty, so now we'll get under the car, slide this, like it would start the threads onto the transmission fitting. And then then you can literally mark out under the car the exact length you need. All right, so yeah, you can see, yep, just below it there should be one ready to take it.
So that's the one that you did.
Yep. And it's got a heat sleeve over it. Yeah.
And isn't supposed to be so frayed.
No. So actually, do you want to hand me? Oh no, it is. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Do you want to pass me the fitting? Because we got to go through the tail shaft loop and under this. So the line you're holding.
Oh.
Do you want to pull that through? Put the fitting on and just screw it on a couple times. Now, do you remember what I was telling you about how it needs to be on the perfect angle for it to thread? Mm-hmm. So your other hand has to be on the line to kind of make it so that it's perfectly flat so that it actually screws on nicely.
But try and not let it kink.
Well, it won't kink from under here.
Okay. Like, meaning like it's gonna strip if you...
Yeah, so it will, when it's on there right, it'll thread on there really, really easy. So you'll know when it's on there right.
How long are you gonna give me before you take over?
I'll let you get it. I was fumbling around for longer than this on that top one. Alrighty, so now just around where my fingers are, so you can try and get the tape in the middle of where my fingers are, kind of thing.
Like that?
Yep. Now you're gonna make this really tight. Yeah, that's good. Now get the chompies. So you want to do it in the center of the tape.
Did you show them it?
Make sure that the line's perfectly perpendicular. Just like pop it through. Nice. So now this is spare that we've got.
I thought it was going to be a lot harder to cut through.
Yeah, it's not, I thought that too. So yeah, so now we've got to round this out so we can get the fitting in it.
Okay.
So instead of using that little one, now this one will be a little bit harder to do because it's not perfectly round. It'll like the olive, it'll just be like you'll need to fight it a tiny bit more just because it's not perfectly round. So we'll set that up. So one thing, just before we're about to put the fitting on, one thing that I majorly just remembered that obviously there's no going back if we forget it now. If you want to reach behind you to that little slinky, it looks like just like an empty hose. It's the heat that you're touching it. Yeah.
Okay.
We have to thread. Oh, GoPro turned off. We have to like push that onto this. And I did it the other day. It is annoying as hell. So yeah, we just need to put that entire thing on here, the heat sleeve. So what I was learning is it works like a Chinese finger trap. If you push from where your right hand is now, not pull, push.
No, I know.
Yeah, it'll like get larger so that the circumference goes around those little frayed bits. Yeah, now you gotta slide it on. Yeah, now I can push from there.
Like
yeah, so now that I can't hold all the way down there, this is where it makes it really annoying. But with two people, it should be pretty easy. That's pretty smart. How much is left? It could just be that it's on a bend or if it's starting to hit something. So we'll just have to get under the car to like thread it up there. So I'll just quickly do that. So pretty major loss here. We've routed the lines under the transcooler, and somehow I'm literally that short. Like, couple mil. It goes closer than that because, like, obviously I've only got one hand on it. But I made the line a little bit longer than it should have been, yet somehow it's just too freaking short. Oh god, that sucks. So now this hose is pretty much useless. Either have to reorder new hose or just do new riv nuts and clock the cooler the tiniest bit this way, which is probably going to be the easiest way, especially because I have more M6 whatchamacallits. I forget what they're called. So I guess that's just gonna have to be the way I do it. Drill more bloody holes in the car and rotate it. That is so frustrating. Like, legit, I was like, oh, it's gonna be a bit hard to take up this extra slack. Nope, it was the opposite way. Too bloody short somehow. Oh well, other than that, the rest of this entire project is going really smoothly, so, oh well, I guess I'll just have to flip that around or rotate that. But that can be done tomorrow, so at least we got the lines made, everything done. Just this tiny little setback. So come back tomorrow and we'll do that. Alrighty, so excuse the close quarters, but you can see transcooler all good to go. All the fittings are on, all the hoses are on. You can see like where the bolts are just there, and I can't see where the other ones are. More up here that I'm blocking now. Yeah, I just blocked them off and then put these new ones in. And yeah, just rotated a tiny bit with some new nutserts, but she's all in, she's all ready to go, plugged in, and then when I drop it down, I can play with the wiring so that it comes on by itself. So then, yeah, you got the hose coming along here, and very tight, can't really see, goes up next to the trans, all the way up and nicely there. And yeah, we've got that starter motor issue that we've got to play with, but that's an issue for another day. This is pretty much good to go. I still got a little bit of cleaning to do because I can still see trans fluid, like even dripping off the oil filter. So a bit more cleaning to do. I've cleaned like all under here and everything, but it freaking got everywhere. I can even see it on the rails on that side. So a little bit more cleaning and then I'm gonna jump out. Alrighty, so in here with the car. Yes, I know it's super rusty back there. Kind of does look like a bit of a rat's nest with the wiring, but it's still pretty straightforward. So now I've pretty much taken the fans. So now at the moment only, that's just the thermo fans out the front. Now I've got it, so this is the button, send. That is what turns on the MSD under all that. Yeah, the MSD that's in there. So that's what gives us spark and everything like that. So when that's on, transcooler fans come on. So if the car is going to be on, the transcooler fans are on. Simple as that. And now I've pretty much got to figure out one other thing that we've had an issue with is if you see the lights in the gauges, for some reason the oil pressure light doesn't come on inside the gauge. So definitely need to change that. And then the oil cooler, got to look into what we're doing with the oil cooler too. But that's where I'm going to wrap up today's video. So that's going to finish this one out now that we've got transcooler lines ran. It's wired to how I want it to be working properly. So we're all good to go on that front, which is pretty freaking awesome. Alrighty guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. So I'll catch you in the next one, which will be Monday at 6 p.m. Be there or be square. I'm probably going to be doing the oil cooler and setting that up and wiring the thermo switch so that comes on at 79 degrees. Because then the oil's all good and everything cooling wise is looked after and looking good. Then we're ready to rip again. Alrighty guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Monday, 6 p.m. Take it easy. Catch you later.
There's nothing that we got in common. I've been out grinding and hustling, investing this paper. Got tired of eating that ramen. All of my music be heat, I ain't missing a beat. I've been blessed with impeccable timing. Watch all them people who friendly, it turn into envy whenever they see that you shining. Okay, I'm back.